epidose of these crazy people that just eat meat and can't stop talking about it. It's Justin back again, and of course Tom, we're here. So anyways, what are we talking about today, Justin?
Hey, welcome back everyone. Well, it's close to the holiday season and I hope you're not facing eviction. This is certainly not the right podcast for that, although carnivore can help you save money. But we're going to be talking about hitting that like button, hitting the subscribe button, leaving us a comment. Hey, if we look like people you don't want to be eating eggs with, that's completely fine. Go ahead and leave a comment about that. That's all gravy, or I should say carnivory. But again, interaction is great. Give us your positive messages. Give us your negative messages. Send these videos to your friends, family, enemies. Put them on for your cat and dog that are at home, or bird. They'll enjoy our content as well. There's over 300 videos for yourself, humans and animals alike, to enjoy.
I think this one's 397. So getting close to 400. 400 that keep you busy for a while, and they're all free.
And they are all free. And if you've got any old devices, you know, an old tablet, old iPhone, old Android, Samsung, Google, an old Razor even, I think you can pull us up on there. Just let it play. Why not? Get some use out of that old device.
You're walking through the library, the store, you can just punch us up on YouTube. Put us on all the TVs, all the tablets, all the PCs.
Yeah, exactly.
Share us with the world.
Share us with the world, definitely.
And of course, send your hate mail to Justin.
Send your hate mail to me, alloutlife.carnivore@gmail.com. I get all your hate mail right there. Perfectly easy. Okay. Fine. What are we really talking about? We're talking about a few different things. We are a bit of a variety show. We thought today we'd start with something I grabbed up earlier today while I was around the internet. This is a post from the great Georgia Ede's quote unquote keto/carnivore psychiatrist. And the post is simply a statement based on some previous research/data that had come in. It simply reads, a teenage boy with epilepsy and autism behavior switched to a ketogenic diet and saw life-changing results. Seizures stopped and autism behaviors improved within weeks. Inspired psychiatrist Dr. Albert Dana, who I haven't heard of until this post. So if you're out there, shout outs to you. Come onto the Meat Mosaic, offered the diet to 31 patients with chronic severe treatment-resistant mental illness. What were the results? Nothing short of extraordinary. 100% of the patients who stuck to the plan improved, 43% achieved full remission, and 64% discharged on less psychiatric medication, weight loss, and metabolic health improvements across the board, despite antipsychotic medications. So some truly fantastic stuff. My actual favorite part about this post is two parts. The part where it says, who stuck with the diet improved. I like that it doesn't try to oversell, and that is like, oh, 100% achieved remission, you know? I like that it's fair and probably truthful that there were improvement, and that's going to vary individual with individual. And in this particular post here, we don't know how long the study and things were, how long these individuals were on the diet. So there's a lot of questions still, but I think it points in a great direction. The other part of it, the 64% discharged on less psychiatric medication, I particularly like that part. I think there can be I don't know if you'd call it like a stigma or an idea of us here, and I don't know if we want to call us the diet space, the root cause healing space, the biohacker space. We kind of span a lot of different camps. And I think there's an association with us and being anti-medication. Now, I will agree with myself. I'm probably more anti-medication than most, than some certainly. A part of that is, yes, my study and knowledge in the psychiatric field. I've legitimately worked in a psychiatric hospital environment where they are big on psychiatric medication. And my own personal history with psychiatric medications. So I am biased, and I can completely be open about that. At the same time, though, again, I have worked in the psychiatric institution. When there are people that are psychotic, talking about the devil, and they're going to take your soul, a shot of Thorazine fixes that problem. You know, I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's right. But hey, they get to go lay down, take a nap. The rest of the nurses and staff get to do their jobs, and the rest of the patients get to have, you know, a less of a disruptive time while also in the hospital, and you know, their level of them trying to seek treatment, what have you. And so, and I say all that to say, yes, I do believe medication has its place. I think the problem is over medication and just without proper supervision, and people, you know, wanting the magic pill versus doing the hard work of changing diet and your surroundings and environment and who you let in your life. And then, you know, health is so incredibly complex. It's so easy to get mixed up in this myopic view of health. To have the best health is just do this one thing. And that is, and those that are, I think, seasoned, and I think those that truly write about health know that it is such a variety of mixture of things, both in and out of our control, and a development of habits, lifestyle, understandings from childhood, right? And so health is incredibly complex, and I don't ever want people on our channel, if I can help it, to think that we're saying, quote unquote, being healthy is simple, because it's not.
Well, maybe not, right? Because I mean, as we know, a lot of modern diseases seem to be caused by diet or metabolism, right? And then a lot of disorders are actually made worse. The symptoms are made worse by the diet, right? So there's a simple aspect to it, but it doesn't mean changing your diet is going to fix everything, because not everything is caused by the diet, right?
Right.
Some things are just made worse. And of course, there's been lots of, you know, anecdotal evidence and now studies where people change their diet and things like, you know, severe symptoms of like schizophrenia improve, you know, and we've certainly seen OCD and depression and anxiety and stuff like that improve. And since, you know, that post from Georgia Ede, Dr. Ede, you know, is talking primarily about a ketogenic diet, we have to remember the ketogenic diet was developed in order to control seizures. So surprise, surprise that, you know, it worked to improve seizures, in some cases stop them altogether, because that was the treatment, particularly before modern pharmaceuticals were available. So, and then that, of course, came about because it was observed that people who weren't being fed oftentimes stopped seizing, and oftentimes their psychiatric issues, which, you know, back in the day, they thought the people were possessed. They thought, oh, they stopped feeding them and the demons go away or whatever. But it had been known for a while that when people were starving, that a lot of times these things improved. And that eventually led to like, hey, we need to mimic starvation. What's going on? Well, when you don't feed somebody, they have to live off their body fat primarily. So they realize, oh, look, when you live off of, you're fueling the brain with fat, seizures tend to stop. Psychosis tends to stop, you know. So it's not too surprising that people are doing studies and having these results. It is nice to know that additional things like autistic symptoms can also improve. So, and I didn't read the whole article, but even from the post, I don't think it suggested that it cured autism, but it made autistic symptoms improve, which a number of people have reported. and not just on the ketogenic or carnivore diet, but also other diets. I'm sure lots of people are aware of the GAPS diet and stuff like that, which has also helped people on the spectrum improve their symptoms. Doesn't necessarily cure them, but like I said earlier, I'm pretty sure that the clear indication here is that the wrong diet just makes all the symptoms worse. So
yeah, it would appear, and of course, I would recommend anyone listening to this or not listening to this, listen to or watch or have us read it to you. Dr. Chris Palmer's Brain Energy, especially if you're in the psychiatric field. I wish I could get that book in the hands of every psychiatric psychologist, grad, doctorate student across the nation. And I'm sure Chris Palmer is also working really hard at that too. I truly think that's revolutionary work in the field of psychiatry. So I keep hoping and crossing my fingers that that is the new way forward. And with this incoming quote unquote administration and a few people in it, here it is, hoping that those kind of voices can be elevated and we can, you know, like I say, I try my best not to disparage the Western model, the allopathic medical model, the medication model, what have you. I mean, we've been rolling with that about 60 years, more or less, since about the 50s, you could say. Maybe a little bit before. I mean, it depends on how you count. You know, you have early opioids during the Revolutionary War, if I remember right. Certainly by World War I, you had hypodermic opioids, you know, medication, basically. And again, has its place. In the middle of war, you just got your foot blown off. Yeah, give me, yes, absolutely. Give me the morphine, 100%. But that just grew and grew and grew to where we are now. And I think the evidence is just clear that something somewhere went awry. But again, medications, I think, have their place. And that's all just like a personal decision. So we have spoken to quote unquote carnivores, keto individuals that have some very bad chronic pain or some other illness that will take medication, and they have this guilt about it, about taking medication. And I always tried to alleviate them that of like, hey, you're hurting. Like, that would be amazing if just going carnivore would take away all that pain, but you've tried it, you're doing pretty well on it, and you're still in this pain. So if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do to get to your next go through your day. You got bills to pay, kids to take care of, whatever else, right? And so, and I'm sure for many, carnivore does lessen / get rid of pain, but that doesn't mean that's going to be always everyone's experience. And, you know, of course, age, I think, does play a big part of that. The longer your body has suffered, the more damage it's taken on, quote unquote. It might take longer to relieve that. And so, again, not a panacea. It's amazing. It's fantastic. But yeah, I mean, don't feel bad about taking medication from time to time, you know.
Sure. I think the thing is, we always, if at all possible, want to avoid taking medication for years on end, because eventually it tends to create new problems, right? New symptoms that you wind up just taking more medication to mitigate. So, and you know, I'm 53 going on 54, and you know, I talk to people and they try going low carb, they try cutting out the sugar, and they're shocked at how quickly particularly joint pain goes away, you know, knee pain, back pain. Those are the two that I hear the most about. And, you know, a couple of friends that's even pain in the arms, like recovering from repetitive motion injuries and, you know, carpal tunnel syndrome type stuff. They're shocked that just cutting back on the sugar and the other carbohydrates made a huge difference in how much pain they're having, and thus they took less medication. And a lot of that's treated with over-the-counter medication, anti-inflammatories, stuff like that. But even reducing that can be a big help, because those too can cause other problems. So,
and I think our bigger message would be, if you're on medication, maybe it would help you to at least avoid having your medication with the Corona brownie a la mode. That might be causing more problems.
Corona brownie a la mode?
A Corona and a brownie a la mode.
So beer and sweets with ice cream? Okay. Yeah, that's probably a bad idea. This is not only a bunch of sugar, but that's going to create some digestive issues. Yeah, I probably don't want to do that.
Yeah, so at least might help with that, if that's what your go-to is.
Yep. So let's take a left turn here. Let's poke a little fun at the people that poke a lot of fun at us. So, people leave comments in the comment section that are often off color, a little rude. And you're like, well, why are you even watching our video?
And please keep watching, please.
Yeah. And it's okay. It's okay. I mean, we get it. Trolling is part of the game. If you're going to put yourself out there, you're going to get grief from strangers who never seem to have any reason to complain other than to complain, So you don't know who these people are, but we've seen them. We've seen people that are taking shots at not necessarily us, but other people in our community. And you're like, what? They don't have anything going on. I mean, some people do and some people don't. They're like, they don't seem like they're healthy. They don't seem like they're making progress, and yet they're picking apart everybody else. They look at a photograph, and I know to a lesser extent, lesser of a troll. I've got a friend who asked me about a friend of ours' eyebrow. Seemed to be missing a little piece of eyebrow on the side. And it was like, oh, look, see, carnivores are losing their hair. And it's like, well, I think a little piece of his eyebrow got burned off or shaved off or something, because everything else looks the same. So I don't know what those things are, but people look at a picture and then they think they're going to diagnose people's health from that. And then there's no measuring of any real metric. There's no evaluation of actual fitness, So, and often the people making the criticism have a lot of health problems, right?
Right. And well, let's say that at your 10 years of carnivore, you lose your eyebrows. Like, it's a fact. Like, would that make you give up carnivore, Tom?
Probably not. I'd be very curious about how that would happen, but
well, I mean, the thing about eyebrows is that, like, you can always draw them on, right? I mean, you grew up in Pasadena, you had, I'm sure you knew the occasional chola, maybe dated one or two, shaving the eyebrows, getting those, the chola brows going.
Yeah, it's an interesting progression, because they used to draw them in with an eyebrow pencil, and then somewhere they went full Sharpie. I've seen some giant arching go up the forehead kind of eyebrows. They're clearly drawn in with a marker. I'm like, wow, that is bold. And so maybe it's mascara, but it looks like Sharpie. So.
Well, and the Chinese and the Koreans decided to even one up them by getting the eyebrows tattooed, right? Have you seen that?
I know. Yeah. That tends, that's interesting, because it seems like with men, the older you get, the thicker and bushier your eyebrows grow in. Like, they start growing together in the middle, like this, they're growing out here, they're coming down, wrapping around your ears. And with women, they tend to lose them, and then they wind up getting them tattooed in. Or they're plucking them here and they're burning them off there, and they're like, oh, they're the wrong shape, and then they won't wind up getting them tattooed on. So, whatever. I don't know. I wonder how much of that is diet related and how much of that was just too much plucking and waxing.
And threading. Don't forget about the threading.
Threading. There you go. Yeah.
All those little threading places started to pop up around like every mall, I remember.
Oh, yeah. Every time I park in front of the gym, right next door is a place that does, I don't know, hair and makeup and henna, and there's a giant sign threading. It's like the biggest sign in the window. We thread eyebrows. Rawr. So yeah, all right. So maybe it's too much threading, waxing, plucking, and lasering going on. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Suspect that has more to do with it than diet, because you can only rip a hair out of the socket so many times. Every time you do that, it gets damaged. It grows in a different direction. It splits in half. You know, it's like, what are you guys doing? You know, can't you just comb it in the direction you want it to go? Put a little hair gel on there. Just comb it over to the side.
There you go.
Swoop it up.
Comb over your eyebrows. There you go. Definitely. And I'm sorry, ladies. Men do not care about your eye. Like, I've never like been like, oh man, yeah, she's pretty cute, but her eyebrows, that's a deal breaker. Like, I'm sorry, no man. You know, I know there's that theory that, well, women dress up for themselves and women dress up for other women. And I think it's maybe the eyebrows is one of those instances where it's true, because I've never heard a guy being like, nah, you know what, pass. Those eyebrows are just too whack or too bushy. Maybe too bushy, but never like
natural.
Too thin, like too natural. I don't
it's
know.
only when they get super unnatural that it becomes a problem. The guys notice, like, did you notice she looks continually surprised all the time, even when she's asleep? So yeah, so I don't know about the eyebrows. And then there's that one account. So should I say the name? I don't know. But anyways, this person goes around making videos about carnivores. And
they're gonna kill their boyfriend. They're not real carnivores.
Oh, yeah,
Everyone's getting sick from carnivore.
And then there's like a carnivore gathering, a retreat or something, and there's this video, and they're in the kitchen, and there's some vegetables on a bowl, like, you know, like they look like bell peppers or something that were chopped up and, you know, like there for cooking or garnishing or something. And I'm like, this is controversial. Like,
or maybe they were just gonna plant them in the garden. You know.
Well, yeah, and I mean, some people are just meat based, and they do eat a little bit of that. They season their food. I don't season that much, but that's just me. It's more because I noticed seasoning interfered with digestion, and I just wasn't enjoying it as much as I was just enjoying the meat. And that's not most people. Most people like to season their meat, and people do, you know, whatever, garnish it, season it, add peppers to it. I mean, I like hot sauce. I still eat hot sauce, but yeah, I don't think it's all that controversial. And it's like, why would you make a video trying to suggest that this is somehow a giant issue, right?
Well, the funny part is that like nobody was even eating the vegetables. They were just sitting there. It could have been for someone's family member who's not carnivore. Like, we're not islands unto ourselves, and we're like, okay, we're carnivore, and just like remove ourselves from the rest of society, like some Hutterites or something like that.
Yeah, I'm the only person in my household that's 100% carnivore. You know, and when I say 100% carnivore, that doesn't mean I'm never going to have a cup of coffee or whatever, you know, some random thing, or taste something that somebody made, or, you know, it's like I tell a story all the time. A buddy had a birthday, his girlfriend made him a cake, is his favorite carrot cake, and he's like, oh, you got to have a piece. And I ate a piece of cake, you know. I was like, yeah, I mean, that's a long ways from, you know, living on a diet of, you know, high carbohydrate processed food, or eating fruit all day, you know, which how my arthritis got so bad. I was eating fruit, you know.
That, and you know, so I saw this thread that was like, hey, do you ever cheat on carnivore? And I was kind of like, can you define cheat?
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I mean? Because it's just like, to me, cheating would be, again, to me, would be like if I had like a whole meal non-carnivore, like, I don't know, a vegan soup or something. Like, maybe
vegan soup.
Maybe my true like keto.
You got double dog dared. And
yeah.
You ate some borscht.
I mean, maybe my absolute cheat meal would be like miso soup, because that doesn't have meat in it. Now, I haven't had miso soup since being carnivore, but like the only thing that would tempt me, that would be like, okay, if there's something like totally non-carnivore that I know I love because I had it in the past, it'd probably be miso soup. Because, and that's probably be like a cheat meal, because it would be like a couple of cups of miso soup, and that has tofu in it, which is soy. It's got vegetable broth. You know, to me, that would, cheating would be miso soup to me. You know.
Well, let me ask you, if you were carnivore for a while and you had a bowl of miso soup, do you think your psychosis would come back?
My psychosis left. I thought this was a bit of a like Joker
You think your
situation
seizure
going on here.
You think your seizures would return?
Again, I don't particularly remember struggling with seizures, but I know part of seizures is having memory loss. So.
I think it would be, I was trying to make the point that we started this talking about how people are having remission in serious symptoms. And then we got people out there sniping about little details, you know?
Well, I yawned on camera. That clearly shows that carnivore isn't working, and I'm not getting enough energy, and I need to be fermenting broccoli in my colon in order to have enough energy to do this podcast. Clearly.
Right. Not enough energy. Starving yourself on meat, poor bastard.
Right. Starving myself on meat.
You're probably oxalate deficient. You don't have enough phytic acid.
I don't have enough phytic acid. There you go.
You don't have enough cellulose packed in your colon. That's your problem.
That's my problem.
So, anyways. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, on one hand, I get it. You put yourself out there, you're gonna attract some trolls. Some people just do it for sport, and some people are just angry people, and some people just believe in some other ideology to some extreme that they just want to rail against anybody who believes otherwise. It's the whole mix of it. But the things that people tend to pick on, you know, is like, it seems to pale in comparison to the positive results. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what are you guys talking about? You know, we're talking about people getting their lives back, people who are like myself that was crippled with arthritis, and then, you know, found out that I had an anxiety disorder, which greatly improved, you know, along the way. And then, you know, people like Emily had MS. You were recovering from 2 car accidents because you're like a car magnet, right?
It's like Magneto, except like I need to learn to control my powers, because I seem to only be able to run cars into me. Seems to be the only ability.
Yeah. So, you know, bring it on, trolls. And oddly enough, haven't heard from the vegans in a long time. I used to get the vegan hate mail and posts, and I dare you to watch this movie or that movie or whatever. But as we find out, they have no stamina. So by the time you sent them the 7th study and replied and then made videos, watched their stupid video and make a video about how bad their video was, they disappear real quick. So, and I get it. I mean, some people are, you know, against death and killing animals to eat them, but you know, that's personal philosophy. Those are personal feelings. People call it ethics. They call it morals. They label it however they want to sort of deify their position, you know, give themselves a moral high ground. But at the end of the day, life eats life. And that's how it's always been from the beginning. That's how it is in nature. That's who we are. And I can understand wanting something else, but the truth is there is not a great way to achieve something else. You know, our biology is the way it is, and until we can manufacture some perfect replica of animal flesh, that's our food.
Well, I will say that I think there is a little something to this nitpicking peak pictures of people. Somehow, Robert Downey Jr. looks worse now being vegan than he did 12 years ago while he was still on crack. So take that for...
And he's definitely having less fun. So Yeah, I see a lot of people go vegan and they start to deteriorate. And, I try not to get too down on people's appearances because, people, they lose weight real quickly, which I would say isn't the thing to do unless you really have to do it quickly. And then they have loose skin and stuff like that. But ultimately, those diets, people wind up being malnourished because you just can't absorb enough nutrition from the plants because they're not bioavailable enough. The amount of nutrients you absorb are fractionary, and then the quality of fats and proteins from plants is inferior to animals. So it's just how it is.
And I think the worst offender has got to be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, well, I remember when the fake meat stuff was coming on, and he was kind of lending his fame to, I don't know, one of the big producers that invested in one of the fake meat companies. I forget which one, but he's making some video in his office kitchen, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna make a protein shake," and he puts a whole egg in it, and then he pours schnapps in it, and he's pushing I don't know, oat milk, fake meat, blah blah blah, and it's like, so schnapps is part of your health plan here, it's part of your fitness regime. So yeah, I mean, I don't think he really wanted anybody to take it seriously,
Right.
but he got away with it. It's kind of like when he was governor of California.
Hey, I thought he was a pretty good governor.
Well, I think he caved in at the end.
He was the governor.
He was a governor who couldn't stray too far from his wife's party. So, wasn't horrible, but it wasn't what he could have been. So, hence the abominable nature of California. The hundreds of thousands of homeless people, the rampant crime, and all the drug addicts.
But hey, starting January 1st, 2025, RVs will be banned.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Because there are so many tents and RVs just parked everywhere.
It's okay if it's an EV RV.
Oh, okay.
It just can't be a gasoline combustion RV. Yeah.
All right. Good to know.
So enjoy that. I know you don't have one, but your area has a few. So I'm curious what's going to happen.
Only rich people can be homeless in RVs then. It's great. Such progress.
That's progress. Well, at least you're still allowed to have cows.
Yeah, so far. Cows have not been banned. So I don't know. Let's see if what's his name, Newsom, hasn't gotten around to it yet, but I'm sure he's working on it. There'll be a bill sliding across his desk. We will no longer have cows.
Would that finally get you to leave if they ban cows?
I'd probably just ride a cow right out of here. Just put all my possessions on a cow train. Just tie them together, start following the grass. It's going to be a problem when we get to Arizona. It's kind of few and far between out there, but we'll make it somehow.
Well, as long as you stick to northern Arizona, you'll be all right.
Yeah, that's true. I have to go through northern Arizona. It's very mountainous. We need some long-legged cows. Some donkeys.
Long-legged cows. Just so you guys know, Tom has a great dream to go see the Aurora Borealis in Canada while riding a moose. That is the ultimate pinnacle. That's how he'll know he's made it as
one of these days.
Tom.
One of these days. So I need somebody up there with a saddle-ready moose that I can rent the right time of year. So, yeah, we got a little friend up there in Saskatoon I need to get back in touch with because this isn't a great place to watch the Northern Lights. So, anyways, maybe if I took out an ad in the local paper, need saddle ready moose.
Need
Short
saddle
rental.
ready moose.
Yeah.
I believe in you, Tom. That's a great dream.
It's a great dream.
That's a great
Thanks
dream.
for helping me keep it alive, by the way.
Absolutely, of course. Something like that. No, I'm never gonna forget.
I wonder how far you'd get if you're riding a moose to go hunt other moose. I wonder if the moose would mind. You know, good.
I think as long as you share.
That's a good point. Good point. Be generous with the moose. All right. So should we wrap it up, you think?
I think we should wrap it up. I think we can wrap it up in moose intestine.
Yeah. Sure. Moose intestine. What else are you going to do with moose intestine? Make some meat mosaic sausage.
There you go. Make sure to get your eyebrows thread this week, ladies. We don't want no bushy caterpillar eyes out there after watching our videos, all right?
Yeah, and if you're drawing in some high arches, maybe get a second opinion before you jump on a dating app. Just saying.
Make sure, most importantly, that you like, subscribe, leave your comments, send us your selfie so that we can criticize your eyebrows.
Especially if you shaved one end off.
Especially if you singed it in the fire, that might be actually plus points, not minus points. As long as you were cooking steak and not like kale or something.
That's all fair. I burned off all my chest hair cooking one time, so, and my arms and my hands and my fingers. So it happens. If all you do is lose the edge of an eyebrow, so be it.
So be it. Definitely.
Small sacrifice.
You
never know. You might start a whole new trend.
There you go.
Maybe we should start doing that. Just shave off a little.
Just a little off the end there.
Yeah, just one side, just so people make sure people notice. That's what I'm thinking. Solidarity.
Solidarity. There you go. That's how you know that the real carnivores will have one side of their eyebrows shaved off. That's how you know. Because we can grow that back so easily. Yeah.
Lord knows I got plenty of hair growing out. I mean, not up here, but everywhere else. But it's fine because it's soft like baby chinchilla fur.
Oh, see, now they're going to make a video. Tom is bald. Obviously, carnivore is making him ill.
Yeah, making me ill. Made my hair fall out before I even started carnivore. It's amazing how powerful the diet is.
Your goatee has taken a hit, though. I noticed that.
Yeah, well, started shaving the chin there. I went through all kinds of beard experiments, long, short, wide, narrow, and just shaved it off for a while and just didn't grow it back. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe, January's right around the corner. Maybe I start a new beard program.
New beard.
It's handy for catching the drips off the steak,
That is true.
You get more in your beard and less on your shirt. So
you got to make sure you have a juicy beard. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, just brush it in, comb the fat in. It's nice, and it's better than mustache wax for your beard. Beard oil. All those crazy products they sell for facial hair. So we didn't do a very good job of wrapping up this video, did we?
All right. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment, send us pictures of your beard hair or any other body hair you'd like us to take a look at.
But especially eyebrows.
Especially eyebrow. And whatever you do, don't fall down the
barb hole.
Hole.